Imagine a life where, starting today, nothing and no one has power over your inner state. Envision a reality where insults don't wound, rejections don't break your will, and betrayal doesn't rob you of peace of mind. Think about how many times someone else's words ruined your entire day, forcing you to endlessly replay scenarios in your head and regret not responding differently. This state is familiar to everyone. We've all felt how the weight of emotions drags us down, making us vulnerable and weak in others' eyes. However, the truth is simple. This weakness disappears the exact second you make a firm decision to end it. This isn't about becoming an unfeeling machine or losing your humanity, but about gaining true invincibility. The great thinker Machiavelli taught that real power begins with complete mastery over yourself. When you control your emotions, no one can press your pain points, no one can make you dance to their tune, and no one can take your inner strength. In the coming minutes, I'll reveal principles for building an inner fortress that will teach you to maintain clarity of thought instead of impulsive reactions and behave in ways that make you impossible to manipulate. Principle number 1. Eliminate emotional vulnerability. Let's face the truth. Most people suffer in life not from lack of money, status, or opportunities, but from a banal inability to control themselves. They're too easily offended, instantly fall into despair, or flare up in anger, and with each such breakdown, they voluntarily hand control over themselves to others. Think about it. If you explode in rage at an insult, who actually controls the situation? Certainly not you. Your interlocutor simply pulled the strings like a puppeteer controlling a marionette. The same happens when someone's indifference makes you feel worthless. This is emotional vulnerability, a dangerous weakness that allows others to own your feelings. The harsh truth is that people will inevitably use this against you, testing your patience and trying to strike a nerve. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, stating that one who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command, and it's impossible to control others if you cannot tame even your own inner demons. The path to true freedom lies through the art of pausing between stimulus and reaction. Perceive emotions as fire that can warm a house if supervised, but without control will burn your life to the ground. Start small. When provoked, don't respond instantly. Maintain enigmatic silence. This composure creates an aura of strength that the world respects and fears. People instinctively trust leaders who maintain composure in chaos. Therefore, those who cannot be provoked become virtually untouchable. Principle number 2. Think like Machiavelli. Strategy over emotion. Most people live in constant reaction mode. They're offended by criticism, soar to the heavens from praise, and shrink from being ignored. These endless emotional swings make a person predictable, weak, and turn them into an easy target for manipulation. To win in this life, you need to abandon the role of passive reactor and become a strategist who acts not on the whim of feelings, but by strict calculation. Machiavelli formulated this brilliantly. The wise do immediately what fools do in the end, implying that fools waste precious time on complaints, resentments, and worries, while the wise immediately make the only correct move. Remember how many times anger, jealousy, or despair pushed you toward decisions you later bitterly regretted. Messages sent in anger, premature abandonment of goals, or trust placed in the wrong people under the influence of the moment. Strategic thinking replaces the question, "What do I feel right now?" with the pragmatic question, "What move in this situation will be most beneficial for me?" Consider a clear example. If in response to public insult you laugh or maintain icy calm instead of the expected anger, you instantly win, demonstrating superiority. In relationships and business, learn to see not words, but hidden motives and real actions. And always, before reacting, ask yourself, who benefits from my breakdown? And what advantage will silence give me? This short pause distinguishes a player leading the game from a pawn on the board. Such detachment doesn't make you heartless. On the contrary, it grants you genuine strength. While others drown in the abyss of their own experiences, you maintain the ability to see the whole picture, staying 3 steps ahead. Principle number 3. Achieve mental autonomy. One of life's most insidious traps is the habit of depending on others' opinions. Many don't even realize how deeply stuck they are in this swamp. People let social media likes determine their mood, and compliments dictate their self-esteem, constantly asking themselves, what will others think of me? This isn't freedom, it's voluntary slavery. Because by handing the keys to your mind to others, you deprive yourself of the right to your own life. Niccolò Machiavelli perfectly understood this truth, stating that people for the most part judge by sight, since seeing is given to all, but touching with hands to few. The essence is simple. The crowd evaluates only the external shell, ignoring the essence, and if you build your life based on these judgments, you're doomed to eternally chase shadows instead of gaining real solidity. The crowd's opinion is as changeable as the wind. Today, they elevate you to the heavens, calling you a hero, and tomorrow they're ready to drag you through the mud. Relying on these swings, you'll never achieve stability. The solution lies in developing genuine self-sufficiency, when your value is generated internally, not imported from outside. Start with an honest question to yourself. If no one sees my success and doesn't applaud me, will I still be proud of what I've done? If the answer is negative, you're living not for yourself, but for spectators. Principle number 4. Ruthlessly eliminate personal weaknesses. Often, we lose authority not because of fatal errors, but because of small daily habits, excessive talkativeness, striving to justify ourselves, or inappropriate displays of emotion. When you fuss and rush to explain every step, you send a signal of your insecurity, guilt, or desperate need for understanding. A strong person doesn't need endless explanations. They calmly state their position once and move on. The most dangerous delusion is thinking that excessive openness equals honesty and earns respect. In reality, by laying bare your fears, secrets, and personal dramas, you merely supply ill-wishers with ammunition. Machiavelli aptly noted that to deceive a deceiver is double pleasure, implying that people will gladly use your vulnerability if you foolishly hand them the weapon. Your inner world should be like a fortress. Only a few who've earned absolute trust should have access, while for the rest, leave only the facade you decide to show. To close these gaps, start practicing the art of silence and restraint. Not every pause needs to be filled with words. Let your speech gain weight through careful selectivity. Learn to experience your emotions privately, not handing them out like free flyers. Principle number 5. Master silence as your weapon. Remember moments when someone tried to provoke you, raised their voice, insulted, or persistently dragged you into meaningless argument? By responding to anger with anger, you merely gave your opponent your life energy. That's exactly the reaction they sought. But when you maintained composure and silently looked into the offender's eyes without flinching a muscle, the balance of power instantly shifted. The aggressor expected battle, but encountered emptiness that stripped them of confidence. This silence creates discomfort, and discomfort inevitably makes the opponent weaker. Machiavelli perfectly understood this balance, stating that the lion is defenseless against traps, and the fox is powerless against wolves. The lesson is crystal clear. True strength isn't always a menacing roar like the lion's. Sometimes it's far more important to know how to wait and observe, to strike precisely at the perfect moment, like a fox. Silence becomes strategy, and composure becomes an instrument of absolute control. Silence performs 3 crucial functions for you. First, protection, allowing you to reliably hide true emotions and intentions. Second, lack of reaction, confuses others. People are used to expecting a response, and silence knocks the ground from under their feet. Third aspect, respect, because the one who maintains self-control under pressure always looks more significant and stronger than those who succumb to panic. Principle number 6. See through people's masks. Most people display only a facade, hiding their true face. Sweet words, smiles, and demonstrative loyalty often last only as long as it's beneficial, and behind every promise often hides a secret agenda. To become invulnerable, you must stop judging people by their words and start evaluating them exclusively by their actions. Machiavelli accurately noted that everyone sees your external shell, but only a few can grasp your essence. People are masters at creating appearances, building images to impress others or control them. The wise person, however, looks deeper, ignoring beautiful words and focusing on behavioral patterns, concrete actions, and choices made. Think about it yourself. A friend may swear eternal support but disappear in difficult times, while a colleague will praise you to your face while trying to secretly appropriate your achievements. The truth about a person lies not in their declarations, but in real behavior, so observation becomes the key skill. Don't rush to trust. Watch how a person behaves with others and how their actions change when the situation stops bringing them benefit. Masks are everywhere, from social media with its illusion of perfect life to work relationships permeated with fake smiles and feigned respect. Principle number 7. Trust cautiously. Be extremely careful with trust and emotional attachment, because in the wrong hands, trust becomes a weapon. The phrase, "just trust me," often serves only to lull vigilance, and blind faith means voluntarily handing over your keys to your emotions, secrets, and even your future to a stranger. Machiavelli warned that keeping a promise is a necessity of the past, and its violation often becomes a necessity of the present because people change along with their interests. The danger lies not so much in trust itself, but in emotional dependence, when you allow others to determine your self-esteem, happiness, or life path. The one you depend on becomes your actual master. They can elevate you with one word or destroy you with indifferent silence, turning you into a puppet. If you cannot leave a person without losing yourself, you don't control the situation. Control is in their hands. The pain of betrayal is often caused not only by another's action, but by the volume of power you unconsciously gave them. The wise strategy lies in balance. Build connections and show care, but never tie your personal integrity and stability to others. Principle number 8. Master yourself to control your world. Any great empire begins with total control, not over territories or subjects, but over oneself. If you cannot tame your own mind, emotions, and habits, you'll forever remain a prisoner, even if there are no real chains on your hands. Machiavelli wrote that the one who prospers is the one who manages to harmonize their actions with the spirit of the times. This means that the strongest is not the one who shouts the loudest or looks most severe, but the one who can adapt and maintain discipline no matter how the storm rages around them. Life will constantly test your strength. People will try to provoke you, and circumstances will knock you down. If you're weak inside, pressure will crush you. But if you train your mind to maintain composure when others lose their heads, you won't just survive, you'll dominate. The art of self-mastery rests on 3 pillars. First, control over emotions. Don't let anger, jealousy, or fear dictate your decisions, because emotions always cloud reason and deprive you of clarity. Second element, iron discipline of habits. Power doesn't arise suddenly. It's built from daily victories, early rising, completing started tasks, and constant training of the mind. Third aspect, strengthening independence. Your happiness shouldn't fluctuate based on others' approval, attention, or praise. As soon as you start seeking peace in the external world, you become fragile. So draw confidence exclusively from within yourself, and then no one can knock the ground from under your feet. Conclusion. True power begins with self-mastery. The harsh truth, if you don't control yourself, someone else inevitably will. Your boss, partner, friend, or even a random passerby.
Others instantly sense weakness and use it for their purposes. But self-control completely changes the rules of the game. People start respecting you because you cannot be bent, and they admire that you cannot be broken. Imagine you're the ruler of an internal kingdom where your thoughts are the citizenry, emotions are soldiers, and habits are laws. If chaos reigns in the state, you're powerless to influence external events. But if strict order and discipline are established there, no one can shake your throne. True power is born not in noise and drama, but in the silence of your mind and heart, and in the choice you make when no one's watching. Remember, no one can hurt you if you don't allow it, and no words will wound if you control your reactions. Machiavelli accurately noted that people are less afraid to offend one who inspires love than one who inspires fear. People respect strength, control, and clarity of thinking. By stopping handing them the keys to your peace of mind for their opinion, you rise above all this fuss. Start today. Study people, anticipate their motives, and act consciously. Build your inner fortress as if your life depends on it, because truthfully, it does.